Well, let me tell you a little bit about identity theft. Well, your identity gets stolen when you buy a house in Kansas. And the Smith Center Police Department is corrupt, involved in the crime. Magistrate has orders to shoot to kill order on you. And you got a district attorney alters a plea agreement. That gives you no justice at all. You go to the Attorney General's office and ask for help there, and they shoot you down at victims of crime. And you can even bring evidence with you, and they won't even look at the evidence. So, and it don't matter if you got a recorder of threats, death threats, stalking, vandalism, crime that never ended, never stopped, credit card theft, debit card theft, house completely destroyed, threatened, forced out of your home, flee for your life, death threats, multiple directions. But, people out of Kansas, the dirty corruption of the cops, hide under the color of blue, aid in the crime, and also steal assets out of your house. And, if you have gold, they'll steal that. Antiques, they'll steal that. And if you have any money laying around, well, they'll steal that too. And then they'll force you to sign a plea agreement by gunpoint so they can discredit you. When you had a perfect clean record, you served in the military, your identity now is completely destroyed, your credit is completely destroyed, and your home is destroyed, and your bank accounts are drained. And even if you have a construction company and tried to do things on your own for a while, eventually then the tax man with self-employment tax will be the last dagger in your heart. That means, guess what? You can't license plates in your vehicles because the money was stolen. You don't have the receipts for it, so how can you write it off? It's your word against theirs, and they're God because they're the credit card company, and they won't take anything off because they don't want to take a hit. The banks won't put 1 cent back in your bank account because they say, well, you have to prove it. Well, any thief will give you a receipt. And if you do find it, it's damn lucky. So basically, you can't get nothing accomplished. And then on top of that, you go to the FDIC. Well, that's only if the bank closes. And then if you go to the bank commissioner, they tell you go to hell too. So then you go to your attorney general, and they say, well, you live in another state. And guess what? We can't help you. And then you go to the attorney general where the crime happened in Kansas, and they tell you go to hell. Nobody does nothing. So then you take it up to, you go to the U.S. Marshals. They can't do nothing because it wasn't authorized by the local authorities. That was corrupt. So how can you get something done when you got a corrupt police department, you got a corrupt sheriff's department, you got a corrupt district attorney, you have a drug dealing son on the district magistrate that's corrupt on take. So that's another corruption. You got a treasury, they steal your bond when you have a cash bond. And of course you sign a plea agreement after 180 days. That's also civil rights violation, especially when they're doing it by gunpoint. And then that past 180 days. So the state of Kansas has broken multiple laws. And here I am, just a simple disabled vet, trying to make an honest living. I'm a contractor. Been that way for years. But, it's kind of hard when you make a deposit in your bank account and they steal damn near everything you deposit because they clean your bank accounts out constantly. So, is a bank safe? No, a bank is not safe because they won't cover the loss because it will cost their insurance. And if you go to Great Western and you ask for your corporate resolution if you're a business owner, guess what they'll do? They will give you other people's corporate resolutions. They gave me, I believe, 6 different corporate resolutions with different people's names and address and their ID numbers on it when I asked them for only mine. And so I can move my account, get the hell out of that bank, and start a different place. So basically all banks really cover themselves, and there is no support for a victim of crime that's, like me, that I got a major hit for everything. So, you go to the what do they call that? The charity place where you have, food shelter, and ask for a very simple thing. Just get some water. And I was even denied in Council Bluffs, Iowa, to getting water. And I donated a lot of money in the community in the past years, forced to by Myers and Carl Leapley, because they wouldn't sign any additional work orders on a hospital job. That cost me a ton of money, and I really did not want to take the hit. Plus, we had to finance that job for almost 5 years. And then we did another job for Waldingers, and thank God it wasn't Myers and Carter Leapley, and we had to finance that job for 9 months before we got our first draw. And the thing is, when you're financing these jobs, and they don't pay any extras, and you got to get it done, otherwise they won't pay you at all. That means you got to get the job done, no matter what it takes. Well, you lose money, but oh well. And then with me being laid up, I've gained weight, can't hardly walk, my knees are shot, my ankles are shot, I got water in my ankle now, thanks for fell down a damn hill that Myers and Carter Leapley did. But the thing is, it's this identity theft. Once you get hit with so much crime, you can never dig your way back out, and you can't really prove everything, because you think a criminal will actually give you a receipt that that he charged all this shit to you, and you don't even have the credit cards that he charged to you and put in your name, because he knows your address, your social security number, and any other documentation you might have. They've got everything, phone numbers, addresses. You're not protected. There is no protection out there for you. And there's no protection once you're a victim of crime. There is no justice, because Kansas does not support federal law. Federal law means, guess what? They are a victim of crime. They're a victim of crime. They should be entitled to being reinstated what was stolen and what was destroyed, and vandalism. Stalking is also a crime, and I was also a victim of stalking. I was also a victim of death threats, vandalism, harassment. I even had cell phone death threats on my phone on Veterans Day while my truck was up on the rack getting fixed. Thank God I had an account with them. I had a few accounts left, but not very many, and it's people that I know face to face. Otherwise, I would not be able to do anything. But now with all these tax liens on me, I can't go to work. I'm unemployable because they got my license plates, held up for ransom for something that I should not owe. So, this is not good, and you can't work. Well, your health is not that good. You got a bad back. You got, L1, L4 busted up. You got S1, S4 screwed up. Both of your knees have got chronic arthritis in them. Both of your ankles are screwed up as well. And range of motion is really bad. You got carpal tunnel in your elbows and hands. Where you got no signal. And then you got a stomach hernia. And you got chronic dry eye and migraine headaches. And you got neck injuries too when you were solid on board the ship. But you can't get nothing accomplished because, nobody gives a damn. And it's sad. Not 1 cent was returned to me. And I've been a victim of crime since 2006 to 2018. And it's still going on. And I don't know how to stop it. I did everything what they said. Even a lady in California, Wilma, she tried to help me through something about victims of crime of identity theft in some website, and she told me she could not believe she fell over backwards, that no one done one iota thing for me. I even got a consumer protection order because I sent a letter to Trump in 2017 in January, showed him all the paperwork before he became a president, made national news, and then on top of that I got a Consumer Protection Bureau ordered from the White House. Just got that a little bit ago. And I got a letter from Joni Ernst, the senator, and then she passes it down to the Attorney General. They can't help me. So really, it's a circle jerk, and you can't get nothing accomplished. So if you're an identity theft, I don't know what to tell you, what to do right. But what I've experienced is living hell, and it's not fun. I went off this bandwagon really bad. I mean, I've thought about all kinds of ways to end it. But, I don't want these son of a bitches to win. So far, they've won. They've destroyed my home. Now it's only worth $189 because it's a complete hazmat house. I can't go down there. I'll get shot and killed because I got to shoot the kill word on me from the magistrate down there with his dirty, corrupt cops that stole gold and antiques out of my house in cash, and also stole my bond. So can't go there. I wouldn't recommend it. If you're a disabled vet from Iowa, even enter that area. You might get shot because you have a blue license plate. And basically, when you help people out all over the place, best friend was a United States Marshal. He told me not to go back down there. He says it's not safe for you. And the thing is, he couldn't get nothing done because he died of pancreatic cancer. He was one of my best friends and someone I could trust. But I can't trust certain people because certain cops are dirty. And down there, they all hide underneath the color of blue. And with my identity being stolen, my money been stolen, I couldn't hire a decent attorney. When I got an attorney down there from legal, pro bono, the guy was freaking told me that the Disabled American Vets is a cult group. And I fired him because I don't want somebody that's going to call my Disabled American Vets a cult group, because we got injured in active duty in wartime. And if we got hurt, we became a member. As long as we got out of the military, honorable discharge or recommended reenlistment. But, being considered a cult group, I never heard of such crap. But anyway, they're down there. They are in a cult group. If someone throws blood on a church and condemn women, I believe that's a cult. And I don't see any reason why somebody needs to do that. That's a hate crime. That kind of stuff, what they're doing is hate crimes. And the cops are involved in that. So is Mr. William Bradford Watson. Then Mr. Steve Wakefield, he's probably a dopehead and stealing money with electronics, thinking it's smart, charging all kinds of stuff to eBay and PayPal. Then I found receipts for that, but I can't get nothing done. I even went to the FBI office in Omaha, Nebraska, showed them the evidence, and they didn't do nothing either. So it's pretty sad that I can't get anything, one iota of justice at all. And I fought for my country, and I put my life on the line multiple times. I was in 4 different combat zones, and guess what? I can't get nothing done. But, the only thing I can do is make a report and tell you what's all going on. So far, I haven't seen anything, any justice, and I'm scared to death to go down to Kansas. I really haven't even seen my family because they moved down to Kansas, and I don't feel safe there. When you don't feel safe, and you feel more safer in a hood where they're having a riot than in your own, small farming community, it's not a good sign, especially when you got so much corruption. So they've stalked me, chased me across state lines. I mean, we're talking 10 miles across state line borders. That's what the police did. And then Watson was shooting at me one time, and I'm lucky I didn't get shot or my vehicle get hit, because I guess he sucked at shooting, and I drove extremely fast to get the hell away. But I couldn't find a police officer in the next state. So what do? And they won't do nothing unless you catch them in the act. And I didn't have any other proof. The lady that was with me, she rolled her semi and got killed. So I don't know what to do. My witnesses are passing on. Some of them getting cancer, some of them dying of accidents, and I got receipts. But what's a receipt? Nobody cares. You can have all the proof in the world, but they do not want to look at it. They look at, their dirty corruption. When a guy breaks your front door down at 11 o'clock at night and tries to kill you because you have already cut off the credit cards and posted some documentation that he was freaking dirty, and he breaks your front door down and he tries to kill you, you get a cut on your hand, you break his nose, you throw him outside, you trip over the threshold by accident, you land on top of him, but he still won't let go of the gun. You don't want to get shot and killed, so you do what the military taught you. You knock the son of a bitch out to get the hell away. And that's what I did. I threw the gun off the side because I don't know if it's supposed to carry the damn thing, bring it in. I've never been in trouble before. You know, when you're never been in trouble before, you should not be held accountable for someone breaking your damn front door down and trying to kill you at 11 o'clock at night. And then the guys over there blowing a silent dog whistle, distracting your dogs, trying to get you out of the house. That's for stalking and harassment. Plugging your sewer system up non-stop 5 times a year on the average with a plastic bag, broken up fence, fencing material that you use for decorative fence in your sewer system with some little toilet paper, and it gets a 22-degree fitting and it locks it up. Now your plumbing is all jacked up where you have to dig it up. And you only put it once and you don't have to keep redoing it, 5-6 times a year. It costs you money to dig it up, even if you have a backhoe, and you have to freaking shore the walls up, and then you have to freaking fix the nasty sewer that's plugged up, and it's full, it's caked, and it's just gross, and there's nothing you can do about it because, you didn't catch him in the act. Well, you know who did it, and especially when they admit it to you, and you can't get nothing done. And the cops, down there cater to a freaking guy that's in a cult group with the sheriff's department. So there's no way you can get any justice. You got a son that you see the magistrate's son, selling drugs. And then, Mr. Kirchhoff, he gets 60% of the drug money. And guess what? You get nothing. You get prosecuted because you turned your son in for drugs. And then you got a district attorney, she likes to alter a plea agreement by gunpoint when you have 2 sheriffs in the courtroom have their guns drawn on your back. And you're sitting next to a guy that you have already fired as a lawyer, and you already put motion to change venues, and they refuse to even vouch or acknowledge any of the motions. Change of venues, different judge, different prosecutor, everybody, and a different location, especially different location where you would feel safe. And he forced you to sign a plea agreement after 189 days. It was almost 320 days when they, prosecuted me, made me sign a plea agreement. Which, that is illegally as hell. So, this is what takes place in a good old boy cowboy town in Smith Center, Kansas. The Smith Center, Kansas, and the county of Smith County. So if I recommend anybody driving through, get the hell away from that place. Don't go through there. Take another route, because you really don't want to give them any money, because they will rob you and pull you over and probably assault you. And because, they're greedy. And 99% of the people down there are probably on drugs. I don't take drugs except asthma medicine so I can breathe. And then also I take some painkillers when my back goes out. And the next day I go see my chiropractor and he pops me back in place. And it's Flexerol I have to take when my back goes out so bad. And, well, the doc prescribed that for me because my back really goes out. And it feels like swords cutting my nuts off. And my freaking feeling like I got 255-gallon drums on my hips pushing down. And some days I wonder if I can even walk. So, yeah. And, I've done sewer work for years. And the thing is, I still try. I don't want to stop trying. I want to get back on my feet. But it's very hard when you have people working against you. And you can't win. There's no way you can recover from this kind of loss. Living in an RV that's totaled out, that you had to push back up, and your skid loader's down because you had water in the freaking fuel, and you finally figured out how to fix that by yourself, been doing a lot of surfing the internet, figuring out what part does what, how to clean it, and repair it. And I've got it running, but I still got to get electrical parts because it's part of the issue. So I think I got a relay or a circuit board or something breaking as well, because I think that water got onto it in too many years. I mean, the thing is old, and the maintenance was very little because I couldn't afford even hardly change the oil on it, because these guys were stealing everything I made. If I didn't have a rifle to shoot a couple of deers during hunting season, and my tags, I would have starved to death. I mean, I thank God I could buy some, 99-cent seeds and plant them, and I ate a lot of vegetables. And now my VA disability is up a little higher, and I've been buying a lot of red meat and stuff, and put on a few pounds. But I also got laid up, and bread will bloat you up. So, I need to change my diet back down. So, and then cut back on the sweets. But living with identity theft, vandalism, corruption, house destroyed, I don't know what else they can do to destroy me even more. I mean, it's pretty sad. The freaking United States had destroyed me. And I asked for help from the disabled American vet people, and they didn't know what to do. They were just confused. Everybody I went to all turned me down. I even went to a housing authority people trying to get some assistance, maybe get a well here, so I'd have running water so I can take a shower instead of have to beg for water. It's pretty sad. Can't afford to really drive around because there ain't no money in the pocket to go anywhere. Plus, I got the license plate thing going on. It's kind of hard to get around without no license plate because you owe a hell of a lot of taxes on all your goddamn stolen money. And you should not have to pay on money that was stolen that you earned. That is just so fucking wrong. It being the self-employment tax, it should be removed because I should not have to be penalized more by working that someone stole everything. And then also the VA disability money that I got is not taxable, and the legal aid department put it as taxable income. And all the losses was taxable income, and they weren't insured. So how do you recover from other people's mistakes and neglect of true justice when you got William Bradford Watson, the sheriff's department, did Tabitha Owens as a district attorney down there is corrupt in Smith County, Kansas. You got Kirchhoff, Judge Magistrate Kirchhoff, that's definitely on the take and dirty and corrupt. He's drunk and throwing whiskey bottles out of his car while he's driving down the highway. I mean, you're supposed to look up to these people, and his son's a drug dealer, and that's supposed to look up to somebody that deals drugs. And I'm not a drug addict. I fought for my country to protect this country from all that stuff. My cousin was assassinated at the Border Patrol because a goddamn drug cartel killed him. So I'm not into drugs. This is so wrong. And I miss Jesse really good, really bad. I mean, he was one of my friends. And my cousin, lost her husband and their kids, lost their father. It's sad that these people are coming in the country killing American people, and they should not be. But this is also the people that also can help, steal your identity. So, because they want to get citizenship and they don't want to do the documentation right, they can go through the trash and everything else. So, and I thought I'd never be able to get here. I was very, very careful. But buying a house in Lebanon, Kansas is where I lost my identity, thanks to these corrupt people down there. It was a group of them. So, how do you fight a group of people if you're only one man and you can't enter the area and there's no justice? There's no way to recover from something like this. I mean, you close everything, close all your accounts, unless it's face-to-face, but people know you. And then you make damn sure that they see multiple pieces of ID, even to cash a check. And because you can't have anything electronic. Electronic, it will destroy you. And all these new ATM machines going in Walmart and all these other places, it's just another freaking additional identity theft heaven, which it'll be horrible. So I'm not in for them. I look at them and I just shake my head. I said, these are freaking bad news. Because anything electronic, somebody can screw up. ADP screwed up years ago on my payroll. They gave everybody 9 checks per employee for a 40-hour week. And they did that 3 weeks in a row. Or longer. I think 9 weeks. So that's 81 checks that only worked for 9 weeks. And then they took all the tax money and all the Social Security money. And you know what that did? That broke my ass because it was all electronic, withdrawals. So they destroyed me that way, and that was ADP. And my employees, they thank God some of them gave me the checks back and told me the problem. So I had to get 8 of their checks back for each week. And then because they're only entitled to 40-hour week, a 40-hour check, not times 9 checks, not for the same job. No, and some of them were honest, but some of them already cashed the other checks. It was a living hell, and I had a hell of a time getting that straightened out. But I don't respect anybody doing anything electronic anymore, because electronic is not the way to go, because you're going to lose your identity. And don't have anything electronic to your corporate accounts. These people will rob you. Hell, even your personal account. If you do, go to Walmart, get a prepaid debit card or something, a prepaid card, put a little bit of money on it to buy your purchases. Do not have anything goes to your bank. Do not have anything goes to your credit card. I mean, you made your credit card. Because most times they'll say, well, you charge this stuff, and you'll have to accept the charges, and then next thing you know, if you're late on it, there goes your interest rate, from 3% to 35% to 60%, and it's on credit cards that you don't even know, but it takes all your credit cards up. So, and then you argue with them, and you can only do so much when you argue. You can send them documentations, but they may just throw it away because it's not a check in there. So, and you're saying you're not making, you didn't charge these purchases because, hell, you're in a different state when they're robbing you in a different area during that time frame, and you have witnesses for that, and they won't even do nothing. So, credit card companies are evil, and banks are definitely evil, especially Great Western out of Omaha or South Dakota. That's their corporate office, I believe, and they won't do a damn thing. So Great Western banks are bad. They're in Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and a few other places, but I don't recommend using their services at all, because you'll lose your identity. If they're going to give your corporate resolution away, to some stranger that's asking for his own, and you get 6 of them, and if I would have walked out the door, that'd have been a federal violation. And I looked at the lady and said, none of these are mine. I said, why are you handing me somebody else's stuff? I said, I don't want these. I don't want nothing to do with these people. I said, I just want mine. That's it. That's not my company name. And I specified my company name to her and my personal name. And then she said I didn't even have a bank account there. I said, the lady's so freaking full of it. Well, hell, there ain't no money in the bank account because they're getting robbed. What do you think? And I got freaking charges on freaking bank charges because the money was stolen with late, overdraw fees. And it's like, nothing I can do. And it didn't matter what bank I went to, even the ones in Kansas, they even were compromised. And I caught them pretty quick, so I was like, I'm not really down here, so let me close them. So I closed them accounts, but everything up here in Iowa, oh my God. Yeah, it was a freaking, and moving corporate accounts is not easy. So, I was trying to do the best I can. I figured they could get to stop the flow. It didn't matter. I mean, I'm hand digging down in Kansas from my grandparents' farmhouse, putting a new propane line in, and I got 3 people trying to take a couple $100,000 out of my accounts. It's like, one's in New York, one's in Florida, and one's in Arizona. Hell, Steve's sister lived in Arizona. His dad lives in Florida. His brother probably was a truck driver and up in New York. And they tried to charge using Mike's debit card information. And thank God the bank caught that because they all hit the same time within 5 minutes. And they kept calling me like, no, I'm digging in Kansas, I said, I'm not. I'm away from any electronic freaking devices to charge any, not even around a fuel pump. I had a hell of a time getting back up to Nebraska to get some money out of the bank so I could make it home because I was out of fuel. And I says, this is so freaking wrong, because I only have